I was in college, University of Oklahoma State was our rival. Coach there, Coach Holder, he taught his players the golf machine, and it really intrigued me. It was the first time I kind of thought of the idea of applying science into the golf swing. The club lagging behind, and this lag pressure on this right wrist, right back of the right hand and this four-finger knuckle. And I'm going to keep going down and out to some degree, right? That was the thought. Now what we realize, as I'm rotating, the force is getting back and up to the leg. So down and out, basically this lag pressure, you're going to come down, I'm going to maintain this pressure in the back of my right wrist, and I'm going to hit this way, so it's kind of more like this, down and out.
That's what you don't necessarily want to do.
No, that's right. Okay. So that's what was thought. So the handle would stay lower, it would kind of move outward away from you.
Okay.
Whereas now we're talking about you're going to come down, and as I'm getting through this section, I'm actually pushing back and up, so the handle's raising and going back over here to the left. Great. So it'll look more like this.
Now, one of the things I noticed with your swing is that you don't have a lot of lateral motion. We're always hearing things like keep your head still, don't slide.
During the backswing, we have a rotational piece. Our spine is always changing. We have a left bend and a right bend. We have flexion and then extension. So we have to blend all those things in order to keep your head in the center. Because the ball's on the ground, if I was horizontal, everything's going to turn on this horizontal plane. If my ball's on the ground, now there's an inclination because I'm bent forward, right? So as I go back, I'm pivoting, so I'm turning my shoulders, my hips are turning. Now you can see I started, my left side is getting shorter, so we would say this is going into left bend. My right side lengthening. So I've got a rotation, I've got the left and right bend changing. And also, as I go back, there's this extension piece and there's a flexion piece. I've started in flexion. As I get to the top, if I didn't extend, I just turned and had that bend, I'd end up going all the way over here. And how I get back to the center.
And show what it would look like without any left bend also. It'd be a very flat shoulder.
Very flat. Without any left bend, it would look like this.
Right, so if you just sort of actually just rotate your spine without these changing flexes, the lateral flex to the left and the extension, your backswing would look...
Well, backswing would look like this.
Right, and that's just not how good players look.
Nobody does that, right? Your spine is constantly changing to give the inclination the same.
Sure.
So from that down the line view, they're saying the spine angle never changes, but I'm actually left bending, rotating, and extending in order for it to keep that same inclination.
Yes, such an important concept.
It is such an important concept, right? The same token, everything I'm feeling is shifting over into my right foot. It looks like I'm staying centered like this. I feel an incredible pressure in this right foot, right leg, as I've gone on this backswing. Historically, we can see that in people like Sam Snead, for example, who had this big turn, his left heel would come off the ground, and he has this big rotation like this, but he stayed pretty centered.
Yes.
This is off the ground, so clearly he doesn't have his weight over here to the left. It's into that right leg, and then he would turn back the other direction from that with a push off of that right leg. So unless I didn't do those pieces all together, and I just kind of rotated, and I kept my left bend this way, and I didn't extend, I would look like this.
Yeah. How are you going to get the bottom right?
The other example is kind of what I would do. Is a combination of those. It looks more like this. When you're seeing that structure, there is still a pressure shift that I'm feeling over into that right leg. Now, here's the thing, I'm feeling that, and then through the transition, I'm actually almost like I'm lightening it to some degree to get my inclination to the ground, because my arms are going to be transported down, the top's going to be transported down, keep that inclination, and then I know that I've got to push back and up on the other side now, which is really the reverse of the backswing, and that keeps the curvature of my hands and everything going around and creates the power that I'm talking about.
So you went from this straighter trail leg position, and then you actually reflexed it, everything lowered a little bit. You said you felt like you got lighter, you sort of almost unweighted a bit.
Correct.
And that allowed you to get into a place where you could then
push back up on the other side. Like I'm a high jumper, I'm coming in, I'm going to get lower or dunk a ball, and then I'm going to jump. Right?
And this is where, even though this leg's pushing back and up a bit, a little bit of that right lateral flexion keeps your head from jumping up.
That's correct. Guys demonstrate this beautifully today. You know, like Rory McIlroy is a great example. He does a lot of things really well. Tiger does all this stuff. Now this time, notice how through the transition, how I'm flexing and then extending. So.
Great stuff, especially the stuff with the backswing and how to really move your spine to not have a lot of motion off the ball, still be relatively centered with your body motion, maybe allow some of the pressure go to your trail foot are some really important keys.